thanks, guys, for jumping on today. It's great to be back at Rutgers. My family and I are excited to move back. It's kind of been a place we've always considered home. We had a great time there the first time around. It's great to be back with Coach Giano and the staff that he's put together, and we're excited to start moving forward and hopefully get back on campus sooner than later and start building this thing back to where we want it to go.
Here, we'll go down the list that I just went through. We'll start with Bobby. So 2 questions, and then we'll move on. If you're not asking a question, just a reminder to please mute your line. So, Bobby?
Okay, Coach, congrats on the return.
Thank you very much. It's excited to get the actual return going and get after it.
Okay. What has it been like? It's obviously an unprecedented time. What's it been like for you these past couple months, having to recruit from basically kind of quarantine?
Yeah, it's, it forces you to kind of think outside the box, but in essence, we're trying to do all the same things that we've done that we would do if we were in the office. We get up in the morning, we meet as a defensive staff. We spend time with our players. We spend a large portion of our afternoons going virtual tours, talking to guys on the phone, text, that type of thing. So we're really basically building a remote routine that we would do as if we were back in our office right in Piscataway.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you more X's and O's question. Popular topic of conversation has been that defensive end position over the years, the weak side position. It's been a rush end. It was a jack under the last coaches. It's kind of like that hybrid. How do you see it playing out in your defense?
It's going to be multiple. Number one thing I think you got to understand about us is we want to get back to playing a fast, physical brand of football. So whatever that spot is called, however we find the right guy to fit that spot, we got to be able to put pressure on the quarterback at that position, but also to have the multiplicity to do some different things in coverage and use them in coverage. So, for us, right now it's about finding the right guys and putting them in the best position to be successful, and that'll kind of shape that, quote-unquote rush end position for us.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
James Cratch?
I guess big picture, how far behind do you think you are in terms of installing the defense if you had had a full spring practice? I know you have the 8 hours a week with the players, and I guess how difficult is it to install a defense the way you are currently doing? Obviously, you have no control over that.
Right. I think the thing that we're just focused on is, hey, we are where we are right now, and this is what it is. So the one thing I got to give our players a lot of credit for. Whatever we've asked them to do, they've done. They've been excellent in their attention to detail when we've been able to do some things with them with WebEx meetings or unit meetings or position meetings, whatever it's been. So I feel like we're moving along in our install. The biggest thing for us is we just haven't had a chance to work with the guys on the field, and that's really where we haven't had a chance to do that yet. And that's just kind of the rules that everybody's playing by. I know we're a new staff, but when we get back, I think our coaching staff has done a fantastic job of installing so far. And when we get back, we'll get a chance to work with them on the field and go full speed ahead.
And what's, maybe a complicated question, what's your philosophy on tackling? That's been a major issue for the defense the last few years, and there's been a lot of explosive plays. How do you kind of teach tackling, coach it, and how do you approach that?
Our tackling system is kind of what we did here before, and we took that system, took it to Tampa Bay, and had some. There's different metrics in the National Football League that grade tackling, and that helped us with negative plays and things of that nature. So, we're not a rugby style tackling team. We have a little bit different system than that. But the biggest thing for us is, we're going to have our eyes up. We're going to have our head up. We feel that that's the way we play safe. And, we're going to tackle kind of the way that we used to.
Thanks, Rob.
Absolutely.
Chris Nowalski?
Hey, what's going on? Oh, hold on.
Unmute.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Hey, what's going on, Coach?
How's it going?
Good. So I just had a question. When you talk about, your defensive line, you guys added a lot of transfers. Was that kind of like a key thing that you guys wanted to do?
I think anytime you step into a new program, you're always trying to build your roster. Coach Giano, he's our general manager, and he's always trying to make our football team better, make our organization better. So anytime that you get an addition that you feel is going to be a great part of the culture that coach is building, I think it's a positive for us. But obviously, our goal as coaches is we want to build the best roster with the best people that we can.
Yeah, and then I'm sure you got a chance to look at the film of the guys from last season and stuff. Has anybody stood out to you from doing that?
I've certainly looked at the film. I think our whole defensive staff. I know our whole defensive staff has, but really in a lot of ways, we want to have a clean slate, and we just want to kind of get a general idea with some things. But really, it's a clean slate. When these guys get a chance to work with us in training camp, we're going to get a chance to, we're not going to let anything from before kind of jade or affect our analysis on what our guys can and can't do. So I'm excited to actually just get back and work with them, and that's where we'll kind of make some decisions on who can help us and who can help us where.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, Tom Canavan.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Very good. The sun's out here in the Midwest, so that's a positive today.
The question I have is, you're a little younger than I am, but how have you had to adjust to virtual teaching? Were you experienced before this, or do you have a teenage daughter who's giving you the ins and outs, or what?
It's like anything, right? It's like anything in competitive sports, right? You're trying to find an advantage on a daily basis, and I would certainly not consider myself technologically savvy, from that standpoint. But you figure it out. I mean, that's the one thing that coach spends a lot of time telling our players. You just got to figure it out, and you find ways through virtual meetings. You find ways to virtually recruit. I gotta listen. The IT expert in my house is my wife. We ran a Cat 5 board. I don't even know what a Cat 5 is. I don't know why it's a Dog 5 or a Cat 5 or whatever it is, but she figured out how to make our video go smoother. And, so you just find ways and you use the resources you have available. But, that's coaching, right? That's anything, right? When you're competing, you got to find ways to be productive and get your message across. And I think our staff's doing a really great job of that. And I think Coach Giano's doing a great job of leading the way.
Super. The other question I have is, you talked about multiple on defense. Is there a base? I mean, are you 4-3, 3-4, or is it all going to be whatever you see out there and you make your decision then?
I think that's kind of football nowadays, right? The number here, this is what I can tell you. Our job on defense, right, is obviously to stop an offense. I mean, I'm not saying that to be kind of a smart aleck or anything, but so when you want to stop an offense, you got to stop the quarterback, right? That's where everything goes right now in college football. It's really the quarterback and the play caller. So for us, whether it's 4-3, 3-4, I mean, we're going to have both of those principles, within our repertoire. But at the end of the day, we got to find the right guys and put them in the best position to be successful. And that's really the process that we're going through right now as we meet with our guys, and that process will even expand when we get into actual training camp and get a chance to work with them more on the field. So, I think you got to have multiple principles within your defense. I mean, to me, it comes down to a core philosophy, right? We want to put pressure on the quarterback. We want to put pressure on the play caller. In order to be successful, we got to be able to stop the run. It was alluded to earlier. We got to be able to eliminate the big plays. And then really probably the biggest thing is we got to find ways to create takeaways and get the ball back to our offense. So how those goals fit into our scheme, we're really kind of figuring that out in terms of where we can put our players in the best position to be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to Richie Schneider.
Hey, Coach. Hope all is well with you and your family. So, the first question I got for you, I know you kind of mentioned it in your introduction a little bit, but what's it like being back at Rutgers, and what stands out since you haven't been here in, 8 years now?
I think the big thing, listen, we came back to Rutgers because of Coach Giano. I don't think there's a guy in the world that I feel more philosophically aligned with in terms of how to run a program and develop young men. So it's awesome to be part of that. My kids, they were young elementary school kids when we left here, even preschool, and they kind of always considered Rutgers home. So we're excited to be back in the state of New Jersey. I think the biggest thing that's been great since we've been back, and I think it's really generated a lot of interest from the fans. We're excited. The excitement is, hey, we're in the Big Ten, and Rutgers has made a commitment now to win championships, and that's because of Coach, and that's why I'm here. I know that he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't feel he was in a place where he could develop young men and win championships, and that's why we're excited to be back.
Yeah, so the second one I got for you is last time you were here was 2012 season. You guys had nine wins, I believe it was. What's it going to take to rekindle that type of success here?
It's the culture and it's the people within the organization. And right now, I think we have the best guy in the world to lead us in Coach Schiano. And I think he's doing a tremendous job with our players in terms of building the culture. And, it ultimately comes down to getting the best players on the field, and that's what we're working for. But, the 8-9 wins and going to bowl games and putting players in the National Football League, that's a result, right? And really what drives that is the process and the culture, and I think Coach has done a fantastic job just kind of outlining our way of life within the program, and as we keep grinding towards that on a daily basis or chopping towards that on a daily basis, I think we'll all be very pleased with the results down the road.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Chris Eisman?
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Very good.
You guys, obviously, you and several of the other coaches have relationships with coaches, high school coaches throughout the state. I mean, what's that been like, kind of rebuilding those relationships now and the time that you've been back, and what's their reaction been like to you guys?
It's been awesome. When we were back on campus, I know the New Jersey Coaches Association would meet there, and you walk down the hall, and you get to see a lot of old faces, and I shouldn't call them old faces, but get to see some old friends again, and that's been great. And listen, football, any sport's a people business, and I think we're in a spot where there's tremendous high school coaches, and I think there's tremendous relationships with a lot of people on our staff with those coaches, and I think that's not only going to make Rutgers better, but make the state of football in the whole state of New Jersey better too. And that's what's exciting. I mean, that's really what football is about at its core, at its essence, is relationships. And I think obviously starting with Coach and other members of our staff, I think the relationships that we have are going to make football better at Rutgers and in the state of New Jersey.
And then second, I guess just when you look at the defense that you have and the players that you have, I mean, how are you kind of outlining your goals for what you want to accomplish with that unit this year?
I think we have goals that, they change daily, right? Like, so right now we're in a phase where we're learning a system. We're developing chemistry on a defense, and we're doing that differently. It's virtually, right? But, we're just going to take things one step at a time, one day at a time, and not so much focus on the long end of things. But if we can, we're going to have tasks that we got to meet each day, and as long as we keep kind of checking those tasks off the list and moving forward and taking steps forward on a daily basis, I think when we pop up and come out on the other side, we'll be very, very happy about where we are.
Thanks, Rob.
Fuchs, did you want to ask a question?
Fuchs.
Welcome back to Rutgers. Question for you.
Absolutely.
Coach assembled a pretty interesting defensive staff that you're going to spend a lot of time with. Can you give us a little your thoughts on some of these guys? I know you worked with a couple.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what. You kind of heard me allude to it a few times. It's when you're building the culture, it's really about the people, and I think Coach has done a phenomenal job of building a staff across the board, and really excited about the people I get a chance to work with every day on defense. We have probably the top lieutenant in the Schiano regime. Coach Bob Frazier is our linebacker coach. He's been with Coach. I mean, he's a fantastic football coach. He coached me in college. I have the utmost respect for him and his knowledge. He does a super job with the linebackers, and he's a big part of what we're doing. Jim Panicos had a chance to work with Jimmy before. His guys do an excellent job. They play hard. He does a great job building relationships. The guys really look to him for leadership. He gets us going, and it's great to have him. And then I'll tell you what, I hadn't had a chance to work with Fran Brown before, but I've kind of known him through a few other mutual friends in the profession, and certainly known of him. And he's been an awesome addition into our family and into our system. And he's a tremendous secondary coach. He's a fantastic recruiter. He's a great guy to have on staff. So the guys that I get, the full-time guys that I get the chance to be in there with on a daily basis are excellent, and it's fun to work with. And then the other neat thing is, I look across the table, there's a Jamal Westerman, a Charlie Noonan, a Damaso Munoz, a Kevin Snyder, guys that have played for us in our defense before, and what they can bring to the table, and how they can help mold our players. It's just it's a lot of fun. I mean, we're not in a staff room right now, but we're all on together virtually, every morning at 7 a.m. and it's fun. It's great to be with those guys, and each of them brings a unique perspective to things and a strength that I think is going to make us better as a whole.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll open it up for a few more follow-ups. Anybody want to go ahead?
Well, the Cratch here. Pass rush, that's been another thing that Rutgers kind of struggled with. Do you think that everything with the defense kind of falls into place once you have an efficient pass rush?
I certainly agree. And whether it's pass rush or just, putting pressure on the quarterback, even in certain quarterback run game scenarios, like I said before, it all starts, you have to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. So, we have a saying kind of that it's technique and scheme, right? So, as coaches, we got to give our players the best techniques, available to execute. And then it's our job in terms of scheme to make sure that we get those guys, and whether it's movement, whether it's a variety of different things we do, pressure or whatever, but we've got to find ways to create pass rush, because certainly, if we don't put pressure on the quarterback, I think that puts us behind the eight ball a little bit.
Coach, it's Bobby again. What ways do you think you've changed as a coach this time around, and how much have you grown in what ways?
Yeah, I'm a big believer that you got to learn and you got to grow on a daily basis, and there's been some ups and downs since I was here at Rutgers last, but I think just seeing some different ways of doing things and different perspectives of things, and I'll tell you what else has been great. Coach and I have obviously stayed in great contact through the years, but and talked a lot of football, but to kind of be apart for a little bit and come back together, especially with the other guys on the staff, it's been great. It's just, not that our core philosophies has changed, but maybe we look at things a little bit differently at times, but that's part of natural growth. That's part of tweaking the system. But I think you got to grow and learn. And like I said before, it really comes down to the people. And when Coach has really put me in a good position, because he's surrounded, our defensive staff with what I think are really good people, and that makes it fun to work and grow and learn together.
Any further questions?
Rob, I guess, did you watch a lot of Rutgers last year? I know you were an analyst at A&M. Did you see a lot of their games? I know Greg has said he watched a lot.
I'd be lying if I tell you I didn't. I've been at other stops, Tampa Bay, Arkansas, other places. I always followed Rutgers, right? Rutgers has a special place in my heart. It's kind of where I got a chance to cut my teeth in coaching, and so if the game was on TV, I didn't go past it. I'd watch it, absolutely. So you got a chance to see some things here and there over the years, and but at the same point in time, I don't want that to necessarily affect the opinions and give our guys a clean slate as we move into a chance to actually on the field.
All right, final question. Anyone? All right, we'll wrap it up there then. Thanks, Coach, for joining us today.
Guys, I appreciate your time. Stay safe.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.